Recording in progress.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Worcester School Committee. If you can, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Okay, we'll do a roll call.
Member Alvarez. Member Biancaria.
Here.
Member Benenda.
Here.
Member Guardiola.
Here.
Vice Chair Johnson.
Here.
Member Mailman.
Here.
Member McCullough.
Here.
Member Roy.
Here.
Mayor Petty.
Here. So what we'll do today is start the agenda, then we'll do a public comment. I know some people are here for the evaluation, and when Member Alvarez comes, we'll go right to the evaluation, then we'll continue on to the agenda. Okay. So first is the consent decree. Roll call.
Member Alvarez. Member Biancaria.
Yes.
Member Benenda.
Yes.
Member Guardiola.
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnson.
Yes.
Member Mailman.
Yes.
Member McCullough.
Yes.
Member Roy.
Yes.
Mayor Petty.
Yes. So we have items G. We have several items there to be handled collectively. Anybody have any questions or want to speak on Council? Member Benenda?
Yes, I request that we consider those items individually. There are some reports that are included in here that I'd like to have discussion on. Thank you.
I just said that. So so anybody want to speak on any of these items? Okay, we will go to Member McCullough. We want to do the review the budgetary needs and community partners for wraparound.
I'm satisfied with that response, thank you.
Okay, so we can file that. All those, Member Mailman?
I'm confused, and I was confused when I saw this on the calendar. Didn't we discuss all of these at one point?
No, we never, we might have
None of
discussed, we asked for reports. They were supposed to be delivered to us probably 2 meetings ago, if I remember right. And, but they were never put on our agenda. Is that
I'm
right?
pretty
What was
sure
the
we
fact?
had discussion about
don't
several
remember,
of these.
Yeah.
Through the chair, they were placed on all these reports were on the second June committee
Oh, we
meeting.
held them.
We held them,
Yeah, that's right, okay.
and they just are to be, come back because we didn't make, there wasn't a final motion by the committee to
Right.
file.
We held them, it was never appeared back on the agenda again. So we held them,
But we had discussion on some of these items. That's my
I
question.
don't remember.
Through the chair.
We could have, but they were held. They still have to be voted on.
I understand. I'm questioning the discussion because I think we already had discussion. That's my question.
Any items that be, would like to agree with you, but any items that were held are up for discussion.
For a second time?
Yep.
So this is going to be second time
It
discussion?
could be, yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so that one we can file. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Provide a report in the school offering ROTC to include the budget and promotion of offering this program. Member Biancaria.
Thank you. The report back was a response on the fact that we have deactivated because of the Air Force and Navy not having the ability to provide someone to train the students in this area. So we lost the program at Burncoat and we lost the program at North. So the only existing ROTC is South High School. In speaking with the City of Worcester Veterans Service Officer, Dr. Joe Robinson, he is more than happy to work with, whether it be the full committee or sit down with our superintendent originally to have a meeting in reference to this. He feels as though we can, as a city, work together to then get leaders that would be able to not only teach the classes, but bring together some of the ideas of the Veteran Council to our schools. He was looking also for input on sitting down to talk about, and I know he spoke with the mayor in reference to this, the Military Appreciation Day in our schools. But I do have his number, his office and his cell, which I will provide through the school committee office to forward that, because I would like to see these programs come back to both Burncoat and North. I feel as though it gave not only a great impression of what we are offering for opportunities to our students, but it also set up a terrific structure for the kids that were interested. They were involved in many of the presentations throughout our city when we had not only our Veterans celebration, Memorial Day back in November, but we also do other pieces of having signs changed on streets and so on, and they were able to come in full uniform, have the flags there, and do their presentations. Give a few words. I think it really builds the skills that some of our students are looking for, and it's a great opportunity. So I would hope that in the near future we were able to have that discussion, whether it be full committee or a presentation from our superintendent in reference to this, and hopefully we're successful in having an instructor at both of our sites to then move forward with the program so it continues in all three of our schools.
Okay, thank you. So we'll
Thank
file
you.
that, and those in favor, opposed, so ordered. To discuss positive impact on fiscal year 25 cuts in reference to the current House budget.
So obviously, that was on April 25th, when we were still looking to try to find out how much monies we were going to get. However, we have since then, the final budget by the governor did give an increase of funding to the Worcester Public Schools, as to many other districts. So I'd like to hold that item and also add, since we have additional money that has been given by the governor's budget to the Worcester Public Schools, and add to have a chart that shows us what do we do with the increase in funding that we got from the governor's budget. Thank you.
We discussed that, no? Yeah. Mr. Allen, maybe you can answer that now? And,
Through the chair, so the final FY25 budget as approved by the House Senate and signed by the governor reflects a total increase of about $124,000 for us. That was a result of the technical change in the low income count that was identified after the House budget. We have not finalized what the actual bottom line number will be with the city manager at this point in time. Usually that reconciliation occurs when the city council sets the tax rate. In November, we make the final appropriation to our budget. But as we've discussed, those funds are going to be needed for, to fund a recent legal settlement.
I thought we discussed something on that. We did. Okay. Okay.
Through the chair, so on the chart that was released from the governor's office, it actually shows $22 million on that chart. So what I would like to do is have Mr. Allen explain, why the chart shows 22 million. And I think it was probably from the original budget that was set in January, maybe, that we all got our hands on, and why it shows more than 124,000 on that.
Mr. Allen?
Through the chair, so it's 22 million is over the amount we received last year. The governor's budget had all but $124,000 in the budget that we submitted to the school committee. So the only change is the amount that was added after the governor's budget came out, which was $124,000. That's the net of change in Chapter 70 aid and an increase in charter school tuition assessment.
Okay.
And through the chair, are we recalling some of the positions based on exactly, there's been obviously some jobs that are available. I looked at today the list of all the available jobs in the Worcester Public Schools that were posted. So are we using FY25 funding now to also increase, to rehire some of these people that we let go?
Well, the 124,000 is going to the legal settlement.
Well,
So,
I think it's more than that when you add positions that, resignations and those people that are not coming back. So I'm just wondering if we're using that funding to recall some of the people that we laid off.
I think we went over this during the budget, that there's extra monies, and people who leave, we'll try to replace those in the right spots. Correct. So you're asking people who are retiring, or maybe is a position open?
What I'm asking is, have we recalled some of, not the retirees, have we recalled some of the positions that we laid off because of the $22 million deficit with,
Because,
out of the FY25 budget, are we now recalling any of those people?
yeah, Madam Superintendent?
Through the chair, there's a mixture of language being used, so I want to clarify it so that as people are listening. There are positions, there are no additional new positions at this time. If we are bringing people back, it's to fill a vacancy. So there may be people who initially were released because we didn't have a position for them. Those people may be coming back, but there are no additional positions being created.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So you're all set with that answer, so we can file that, and those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Next is provide a report of the administration to DESE that shows the number of in-kind instances that occur in the Worcester Public Schools. In-kind of incidents, I'm sorry.
So what we received was the 22-23 student discipline report, and I understand that was because at the time the 23-24 was not available. However, that is available now. But I'll just make my comments also on the 22-23 report. So what this basically is that you have to report to DESE. It's live data, your student discipline by all offenses. So this is, again, over a year-old data, 22-23. My questioning about it is a few areas that were completely left blank. For example, weapons on school premises. The form is completely blank, and as my experience as a principal, I know that if you find a weapon on school grounds, that you usually have to have a hearing on that, and then there is some type of discipline. it's hard to believe that in 22, 23, and again, I'm going to ask to see 23, 24's data, that not one student had a hearing for a weapon found on school premises. So that is, if you're looking on that, it's the last page in what was presented. So I'm wondering how that is possible. I'm sure there were hearings that were held by principals, and yet the data says that there were no incidents.
That's how DESI reported on the website, is my understanding.
That's how the district reports to DESI
It's-
on the
yeah.
website.
Yeah. I remember we had the same issue when you were superintendent. on the-
No,
on
we
the
didn't.
numbers. Oh, yeah, we did. People
we did
come here and
not.
complained all the time.
We reported everything that happened in every school. So I'm just wondering why that's not there, and also requesting the 23-24 report, because that is now available.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll get a report on 23, 24. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
Mr. Chair.
Member Mailman? I'm sorry, Member Johnson has his hand up.
Yeah, can we take a vote on that? Because I'm going to oppose.
Which one?
I'm going to oppose the 23, 24. I don't know where we're going with this. I don't understand.
Okay. Motion is to to oppose the item. So a yes vote would be oppose it, and a no vote would not oppose it.
Yep.
Okay. You all set? Member Mailman?
I'm all set.
Okay. Okay, so yes vote would be to oppose it, and a no vote would not to oppose it. Roll call. Kathy? Member Johnson has asked, Member Benenda has asked a report from the, I get the wrong thing here, but we have the 22-23 report for instances in Worcester Public Schools. We've asked for the 23-24 one now, and Member Johnson has opposed that. So a yes vote would agree with Member Johnson, and a no vote would agree with Member Benenda. Okay?
So, through the chair, I just want to make sure that the public that is watching understands that this is how we prove we have safe schools. So now we are requesting not to have a report on the offenses that are occurring in our schools and the behaviors, how the behaviors are dealt with. I just want to make sure that the public is aware of that particular vote. Thank you.
And this is all on the public website, and people want to take a look. So the public aware of that too, that nothing's being hidden. So we will take a vote. Roll call. Member Mailman?
I will make my comment. So just to clarify once again, all of these reports, all of this data was before us at the time it was on the agendas, in the
Correct.
first meeting in June. And we have discussed these. I just want to clarify that there is no new data within these reports. Is that correct?
Yeah,
So
correct.
we're reiterating the same stuff. And I guess I would support, I'll just say it, Member Johnson's item, because that is an item that we would file as a new item for the coming year. But this is to get rid of old business. So this is it's a nice grandstand that we're having here, but it
Okay, we can direct
doesn't seem
Chair.
fair through Chair, and I would call us out of order for rehashing this stuff that we've already done.
Well, we're not rehashing. Under the rules of the school committee and the charter, this item was held. People can speak about these items, so nobody's rehashing anything. So, and I'm not sure if we talked about this last time, I just don't remember, but these items were held at the last meeting. We've spoken twice. Member Roy?
I personally would like to see the report from 2023, 24,
Yep.
just so we have something to base it on from the past,
Yep.
and see where we're improving, where we're not improving, and how to go forward. So my vote would be to proceed and get the report.
Okay. So you would be okay. Member Benenda?
So we did not rehash this report. We did receive figures, and there was missing figures on weapons. It was not on there. So I had requested that we would get those figures, and the superintendent had said that at that time we were in the middle of budget, that they didn't have time to do a report for us. So I suggested that we take the report that they had from the DESI website, and we would use that and discuss it. So that's why it's appearing now. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll do a roll call. So a yes vote would agree with Member Johnson, and a no vote would agree with Member Benenda. Roll call.
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Biancaria?
No.
Member Benenda?
No.
Member Guardiola?
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnson?
Yes.
Member Mailman?
Yes.
Member McCullough?
Yes.
Member Roy?
No.
Mayor Petty?
Yes. Okay. We are on Ms. Biancarri's item, middle school athletics availability, reduction in athletic budget. We can file that.
Just want to say that, once again, we're looking at our middle school budget, and I'm glad to say that we are not losing any coaches or programs in the middle school this coming year, which I think is terrific, because that's one of the pieces that we worked very hard to put together for our middle school kids. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, file that. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Next is to receive a detailed report on the costs related to the in-house transportation, including the buses, fuel station, buildings, mechanics, drivers, etc. Member Biancaria?
I certainly appreciate receiving this information. The question I have on this is, I've heard repeatedly that we had a savings, and I had asked during budget time where the savings had ended up, but it was more or less, at that time I was told it went throughout the budget for the whole district. But it appears that in this report, that it narrowed down to what we were doing with our buses to improve our buses and have certain pieces done on this. So I was just wondering if I could get some clarification on that.
Mr. Allen?
Through the chair, so as we start our third year of district-operated transportation, we've said originally that we anticipated $3.5 million of annual savings. After we put this report together, we realized it was actually $5 million a year of savings. Some of those additional savings have just been spent by the district throughout the entire district, but $3.5 million in savings was allocated, some by the school committee towards instructional supplies and materials 2 years ago, and the rest was used to improve transportation services by increasing the hourly rate for bus drivers, for bringing on additional training and support staff, all with the knowledge and approval of the school committee.
Through the chair, so when we look at how we're moving forward, we had talked about some additional buses and so on. Is that part of this piece, or is that separate?
So in terms of additional buses, we will be receiving electric buses next year. But in terms of our current operations, last year we began the year, I think, with 82 big bus routes. This year we're fully staffed and we'll be running 101 bus routes for the first time in probably over a decade.
Sure. Excellent. Well, look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Nice. Mr. Allen, tell your team, nice job. Much appreciated. Okay, so we can file that. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Next, we have public comment. People have 2 minutes to speak. And it's your name, see your resident, and item number.
Thank you. Fred Nathan, Worcester. So I'm not really sure what number it is, but it's under the approval of donations.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm just curious, Mr. Mayor, but when someone makes a donation, I'm just curious why this board has to consider their donation.
Okay.
Just a matter of legality. Just wonder why they actually have to officially consider it. My second item is C&P-410, Gordon Davis's item about the Chandler Street School. There are a lot of schools in Worcester that need to be replaced, and as it's written here, it has outgrown itself. I mean, here we are waiting on schools. I mean, it's nice in the last however many years it's taken. We put up a new North, a new South, a new Doherty. Obviously, Burncoat or this Chandler Street will probably be one of the next schools. I just hope there's enough money to go around.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Davis? You have two petitions on?
I'm sorry?
You have two petitions that you want to speak about?
Yeah, I like to conflate them,
You like to what?
to conflate them.
Okay.
That is, put them together and
Yeah.
give me a little extra time.
Oh, we'll see. But go ahead.
Great. First of all, I'd like to comment that this started back in the 70s when that area schools.
Gordon, you just want me to read them real quick so people know what we're talking about here? So,
Okay, yes.
okay.
I'm talking
Okay.
about the
I know you are.
overcrowding
Yep.
and the inadequacy of the Chandler Street School.
Perfect.
Now, for years, that school has been overcrowded, and they put trailers in, of all things, they put trailers in to relieve the overcrowding, and that was fine, except the school committee said, well, within a few years, we'll replace it with adequate school. And now, they're busing the kids from that school into other schools because it's so overcrowded. They're busing it to the YMCA. And I say that that promise that this school committee made 40 years ago that the school will be fixed has been broken. And in fact, the school committee has said that all the high schools have to be rebuilt before they even look at the Chandler Street School, and that is wrong. What I'm saying is that the public should have input into the Research Bureau's research of the Grand Master Plan. But we can't get the information. We don't have access to that research. I went to the Maintenance and Finance Committee. They essentially told me that I did not have the right to ask questions. And in fact, the chair said she won't be interrogated. Well, that's wrong. And as people know, that area is the poorest area in the city. It always had a large Black and Latino population, and that school should be fixed. In fact, I demand that it be fixed.
So we'll take both petitions, we'll send that to the administration.
Through the chair, I was wondering if administration was prepared to speak on these tonight.
Mr. Allen, Madam Superintendent.
To the chair, certainly appreciate the interest and advocacy for all of our facilities. It certainly is part of our strategic plan and something we will continue to work on over the next several years. So I think the school committee knows that we will be engaging in an update of our facilities master plan during this upcoming year. As part of that, that will identify the needs and priorities of the schools going forward. It'll identify clearly any immediate preventive maintenance improvements that we can make, deferred maintenance in terms of how we best spend our capital dollars, and then longer term on the replacement of our school facilities. As we know, Burncoat High is currently in the MSBA eligibility phase, hoping that Burncoat Middle be added to that phase later this year. We, the school committee, city council, I think, has clearly identified Worcester East Middle as our next priority project, which would likely would not begin until after 2030. So our study and consolidation improvement of elementary schools is probably 10 to 15 years away, and we'll use components of this facilities master plan to inform decisions and recommendations to include stakeholder and public input in that process going forward.
Okay. Yeah, members, Madam Superintendent?
Through the chair, thank you, Mr. Allen. And if I could just add one more element, because we are aware that Chandler Elementary has been overcrowded. This will be the first year, I don't know for how long, we will not have students at the YMCA. We're able to put all of the children that need to attend that school in the existing structure. And so we will not be busing students there anymore. I'm not sure if the community was aware of that, but that has taken place starting for this school year as well. And we were able to do that by moving some programs that were already at that school, placing them somewhere else, and offering any families that were interested in attending Jacob Hyatt, which is also very close to that school, as an option as well. So we were able to reduce the lease cost for the YMCA, bring that school together into one family, and place programs in a different school. So just so that the public is aware of that. In addition to the master plan, we're also looking at and plan on bringing forward to the committee some potential opportunities for boundary changes. That is not something you do right away. It is something that you must do with the community. So we have about a year and a half kind of overview of what that process will look like, but it's not something that we'll be able to implement for the following school year, but we will definitely start the conversations with our families in this next school year.
Okay, all set, so we can follow those then, and those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Is your names to your residents and item number?
Hi, my name is Crystal Guzman. I'm a resident of Worcester, and it's more in regards to the superintendent evaluation. I want to first start off by saying Mrs. Monterez has done an incredible job with her administration. She should be proud of herself as well as her administration. We are going forward. The mess that she has had to endure or encounter is from previous administrations before her, and I think it's unfair, and pardon the pun, but it's extremely petty. You know what I mean? It's petty that she has to be put through this, and that we're not growing up. It's a bunch of adult bullying, as I said before in one of the these meetings. They need to stop and start backing them up. In regards, we're here for the children, we're here for the families, and we're not doing this when we're like nitpicking every single thing. Every single time I come in, it's the same thing, same allegations, same everything. What do you want the superintendent to do? Draw it with a crayon? Tell you how many times? In different languages? It's the same thing. We're going forward, we're doing great. This is the first time that families are starting to feel a sense of unity and community. This is the first time. Mrs. Monterez doesn't look down to people, she talks to people, she listens. We're heading in the right direction, but once again, if we're gonna add blame or we're gonna nitpick, let's nitpick and blame the previous administration that did absolutely nothing. We were stalemate before. We're doing really well, and I wanna say thank you, Rachel, for everything that you're doing and everything that you've done. You're amazing, and your staff is amazing. You guys are actually putting Worcester on the map. You know what I mean? Do not allow these people to bully you. Do not allow Worcester to, Worcester is behind you. Worcester is behind you. People are using their power to get to where they want to be, and it's not fair. We're supposed to learn at an early age not to bully and not to treat people the way they are treating you, and it's unfair. And I'm coming to represent Worcester and apologize to you on behalf of the school committee members, as well as for those that are completely opposing and against you, and we're sorry about that. But hopefully things get better. Hopefully they sleep, they go to bed tonight, they wake up, and tomorrow they're in a better mood, and they're better people. Thank you.
Thank you. Is your name to your residents?
Gwen Davis. I live and work in the community, and I just wanted to throw support around what Gordon Davis spoke about, and also to say to the superintendent, you've been a breath of fresh air. I like the way you have worked with the Latino, Black, and actually all the children and the families. I think you've been a great steward in that department, and I applaud you on that. And I hope this council votes to keep you. There are things we have to improve upon, but that's with any administration. And there was a lot of baggage you did inherit from the previous administration. But I do applaud what you've been doing and how you've been a great steward. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. What's your name and city of residence?
Ann Bureau, Worcester, Mass. Who are we here for? The parents and their families. For the families I've worked with, they are so grateful for the work of this administration that has done so much to address racism in the schools, provide more social and emotional support to kids to help them learn, to provide a less punitive approach to school discipline, to ensure equity in education and opportunities for all students, efforts to meet parents again and again to hear their voices and address their needs. We are blessed to have such a great superintendent, and let's support her in all she is striving to do and not make it unnecessarily harder. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. What's your name, city of residence?
Hi, my name's Holly Montero. I live in District 5 here in Worcester. I'm here along with these past couple of ladies to support the superintendent and the amazing work that she's been doing, and just want to say how grateful we are for the hard work that's been put in, and it really shows, and it's definitely personally inspired me to get more involved because I feel like I can now. So just really want to say thank you to her for that. You're doing an excellent job, and we really do appreciate it. One other thing that I want to talk about, another item that's on here regarding a meal charge for students. I mean, right now we have the free meals provided to all the students, but they can then get a second meal at a charge. I think we should consider maybe increasing the size of the meals that we're providing them. It's kind of set a little stigma if a kid has to go up and purchase a second meal, kind of might bring upon some looks by other kids saying, maybe, they're eating a little bit too much. There's a lot of kids in the city that definitely are benefiting from the free meals, so I just really think we should consider maybe increasing the size of them for them. That way they don't have to go up and buy a second one. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing nobody else, we will, just making sure there's nobody online here. Okay, so we're good. Okay, let's go to the evaluation, which is 4-80. Is to conduct the evaluation of superintendent of the 23-24 school year. Does Casey have the... Nope, I lost it. No. I have to use that, I guess. Okay, so I just want to welcome everybody here tonight and for the end of cycle summative evaluation of the superintendent Monterez, and appreciate everybody's input and in this, and I'm just going to go slide by slide and go through it and slowly, and at the end, if people want to speak, they're more than welcome in the school committee, and then the superintendent will probably end it. Okay. Okay, so first up is the view, slide 2 is the review process. The superintendent evaluation from the Worcester School Committee is part of an ongoing process on improving upon current systems in place. Each year, the superintendent and school committee work together to set goals for the school year. Plans are put into place, and the progress on the goals are analyzed by all parties. The goal from this process is to keep learning and keep the city's positive momentum going. This past evaluation looked at assessing the superintendent on the past year's goals and standards that are given to her by us and by the state. So as you can see here, we have the review process. The first was the self-assessment. Next was the analysis of the goal setting and plan development. 3 was implementation of the plan. 4 was the mid-cycle goals review, and 5 was the summative evaluation. And I'd just like to say the superintendent has set up a good infrastructure here, and that's part of this is to continue that and see where it goes in the future. So this is the second of a 5-year process, 5 years that the superintendent's be is the second evaluation, I believe. And like I said, the goal is to improve upon what we've been doing and set goals eventually for the year coming. So, okay, so slide 3. Okay, slide 3. I just wrote notes here if you don't mind me, so I can make sure I don't miss anything. This past year, Dr. Moraes and the Worcester School Committee set 4 SMART goals for the year. SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. For the year, we had 1 goal pertaining to student learning, 1 for professional practice, and 2 pertaining to district improvements. So we have 1 and 2 there. And so we can go to the next page. This is slide 4. This is progress on goals, student learning. The format in which we are presenting goals will be the same. You have the goal on one side, so the goal is on one side of the slide. People looking on, or people watching on TV. And the way you have on one side, the way the school committee voted on the other, and the composite score from the school committee below the vote. So we have 3 sections of this page. For the first goal of student learning, the goals pertain to improving outcomes, specifically around grade 3 reading performance, increased self-reportive engagement in schools from 7th to 12th graders, and increase in the number of former English learners. We see the votes on the right side, and the composite score from the school committee indicates that Dr. Moraes falls into the MET category for this goal. So if you see the school committee votes, we have 3 for some progress, 1 significant progress, 4 METs, and overall it was a MET category. And people should be very aware that MET is very, very good. And so, and I'll go on for that when we talk about proficient too. So to meet this goal is very hard to do, so I don't want to think people that that MET is not a good score overall. Okay. So next is on next. You can change pages. There we go. Professional. This is progress on goals. Professional practice was to have Dr. Moraes complete the second year of the new superintendent induction program and submit all required projects. The votes on the right, and it looks like the composite score from the school committee members show Dr. Moraes falls into the MET category on this goal also. So if people want to see the scores, we had did not meet with 0, some progress 0, significant progress 2, METs 4, and 3 exceeded. So and overall, that was MET on the combined score. Okay. And next is slide 6. Slide 6 is the first district improvement goal was to ensure that there was a district-wide system for recruitment, hiring, and retention of talented, culturally and linguistically competent employees. The goal was to be measured by a 10% narrowing of gaps between the overall student and staff demographics. For the composite score from the school committee, it appears that Dr. Moraes fell into the MET category. So we had 3 some progress, 2 significant progress, 3 MET, and 1 exceed. And overall MET. Okay. Slide 7, the next slide. The second district improvement goal and final goal overall was relative to strengthening maintenance protocols, implementing school safety recommendations. This goal was to be measured by 10% completion of the highest priority. Emergency projects identified through the safety audit. The votes were across all boards, but the majority seemed to show that Dr. Moraes significant progress in this category. So we had 2 did not meet, 1 was some progress, 3 significant progress, 2 met, and 1 exceeded. The overall score was significant progress for the superintendent here. The next slide, please. This is performance on the standards. Aside from assessing the program made on 4 goals, Dr. Monterez was assessed on standards that are given to us by DESE, Department of Education. These standards are used to assess teachers, principals, other district administrators, and superintendents. There are 4 standards that the school committee evaluate the superintendent on: instructional leadership, management operations, family and community engagement, and professional culture. So we can go to the next page, which is the performance on these standards. So just to ensure that everyone understands the process, I want to explain that the assessment of standards was how it was done. Each goal had focus indicators assigned to each standard. Only the focus indicators were evaluated. Not all the indicators required a rating. The scale for indicators was on the basis of 4 ratings that ranged between unsatisfactory, needs improvement, proficient, or exemplary. You can see that the definitions definitions below, but I want to emphasize that the standard for what is expected is proficient performance. That is considered fully satisfactory. Exemplary ratings are meant to be rare. Exemplary rating means that a person performs such a high level that he could serve as a model for leaders regionally or on a statewide basis. So we can go on to the next page, which is slide 10. So performance on the standards. 1, instructional leadership. The first standard was instructional leadership. This standard has 3 focus indicators. You can see the majority range between proficient and exemplary for each focus indicator, with the overall rating having the most votes in proficient category. The composite score indicates that the superintendent met proficient status for most indicators. Dr. Monterez met proficient status for overall rating. The evaluation was also a space for written comments, which we'll review on the next slide. So right now you can see curriculum. We had 3 needs improvement, 4 proficient, 2 exemplary. Assessment, we had 3 needs improvement, 6 proficient. Also data-informed decision-making, 3 needs improvement, 1 proficient, and 5 exemplary. So that's overall average of proficient. So on the next slide, which comments on the standards. As I mentioned, there is space for school committee members to write their feedback. We read through each evaluation and picked out common themes. If multiple people wrote on a topic, it was included. For standard 1 of instructional leadership, the highlights were that she is active listener and a fast learner, and that the program is already seeing improvements. For critiques, some members reported that insufficient data was provided and progress was not evident, and that there was a greater focus needed on teaching and learning. Okay. So that brings us to the next slide. Performance on standards. Standard 2, management and operations. The votes for these focus indicators ranged quite a bit. The composite score from the Worcester School Committee indicates Dr. Monterez meets proficient or exemplary status for most indicators. Their overall rating for the second standard is proficient. So we can see here that for environment, we had 2 needs improvement, 2 proficient, 5 exemplary. Then for assessment, 3 needs improvement, and 3 are proficient, and 3 are exemplary. And the overall ratings was 2 needs improvement, 4 proficient, 3 exemplary. So I think, so those average both, we put both there. Sometimes it's how they average proficient and exemplary, so into that. And comments on the next slide. For comments on standard 2, overall highlights include benefits around information systems and improvements around the human resources department, and critiques including mention of hiring retention percentage not meeting the goal of 10%, and recording concerns around safe environment for all. And one of the other positive highlights was fiscally prudent in spite of the budgetary deficit. Okay. So on the next slide, performance on standards, standard 3, family and community engagement. There was only one focus indicator in this category, which had the majority rating, Dr. Monterez, in the proficient category. The composite score for the indicator and overall rating were proficient. So in this one, we had sharing responsibility. So we had 2 needs improvement, 4 proficient, and 3 exemplary for an overall proficient. Okay. Comments on standard 3. School committee members reported that the community caregivers and the families feel they are part of the decision-making process. Members reported greater engagement from families in the community, and that Dr. Monterez has strengthened ties and built trust. For critiques, members reported insufficient gym access for alternative programs, and of long-established partnerships for successful programs, and concerned about monitoring. Okay, slide 16. The final standard on which Dr. Monterez was evaluated was professional culture. There was a wide range in votes between needs improvement and exemplary for one focus indicator, and they split between proficient and exemplary for the other. For the overall rating, the range was between needs improvement and exemplary, and we had 3 needs improvement for the commitment to high standards, and shared vision, 1 needs improvement, and proficient for commitment to high standards, 1, and shared vision, 4. Exemplary was 5 for commitment to high standards, 4 shared vision, and 3 overall. Okay. We had comments on standard 4. Overall, the highlights for the final standard included members reporting that staff shared they felt valued. There was an improvement in grievances, and the superintendent's dedication to professional growth and development has created a culture of excellence and continuous improvement. And the critiques from some members were surrounding the budget, not including the director of teaching and learning, and the consistent district buy-in and structure with the implementation and leadership. Okay. Slide 18. Finally, the school committee are asked to evaluate the superintendent overall. The votes were mostly in the proficient range. The composite score would indicate that Dr. Monterez met proficient status for overall performance. So we had 3 needs improvement, 4 proficient, and 2 exemplary. So his overall performance was proficient, which is an excellent score. And for the next slide, for the overall highlights, for the written comments and the overall performance of the superintendent, school committee members spoke about Dr. Monterez's efforts leading to improvements in student engagement, her effective leadership, and her ability to meet the goal of attending the new superintendent induction program. The only critique reported was the evidence from the self-reflection did not show some of the goals were met. We go to slide 20. This is to conclude. I just want to thank the school committee for the time and effort in evaluating Dr. Monterez and taking the process seriously. On behalf of the school committee, I'd like to thank Superintendent Monterez for leading with kindness, resilience, and integrity. There are reasons why the superintendent and several of her staff members have been recognized for the quality of their work at both the state and national levels. And we look forward to another school year of working alongside the superintendent, and cannot wait to see how you continue to build the infrastructure to help the Worcester Public Schools flourish in the future. Okay. McCullough?
Thank you. And certainly, as the mayor referenced, it's not easy filling out these evaluations, because sometimes I feel the rubric is challenging, and I deal with it in my work life as well, because I think a lot of times we see the word proficient and we think sufficient, where proficient as a higher rating than sufficient is. It's right before exemplary. So I'm glad that the mayor did clarify that several times throughout the presentation. It can be tricky to do these. But I wanted to first start off thanking the superintendent and her staff for all the work putting together the goals and working with us throughout the year. One of the things that I really appreciate about the superintendent and this administration is the access that we have the opportunity to have as school committee members. With the monthly one-to-ones, it has been a huge help for me to be able to do my job as a school committee member, to be able to go in and meet and ask questions and get updates on things that are going on, so I can do my job as a school committee member better when I'm working with constituents, families, and people in the community. So having that line of communication and being able to call up someone in the administration and get an answer or get assistance on things has really been beneficial. A lot of the improvements in facilities have been something that I really feel happy about, I guess is the way to say it. I know I can reach out to someone in facilities and something is happening quickly now because we have additional supports in those departments. So that's something that I really appreciate. My overall rating for the superintendent was proficient, and it's not to say that I don't think that some things are exemplary or some things are still needs improvement. But that is one of the things that the superintendent has consistently reiterated, is that we know that there's always room to grow, and that her administration is continually working on achieving higher success and outcomes. We've had improvements in college and career readiness. Things are more inclusive when it comes to that. There have been enhancements in that department. And I'll just read a few of my comments, which I know the mayor referenced that all of our evaluations will be online with our full comments, but I think some of these things are important to note. Superintendent Monterez has demonstrated exceptional leadership and a commitment to excellence across multiple facets of the district's operations. Her efforts in instructional leadership have led to improvements in student engagement and academic performance through innovative teaching strategies, curriculum enhancements, and robust professional development for educators. Her focus on family and community engagement has strengthened ties between schools and the community, fostering an inclusive and supportive environment for students and families. This is something that I consistently hear within the community, that the superintendent is willing to talk with people and meet with people and, understand that sometimes people just need to be heard, and trying to work with them to improve situations that they may be struggling with. A big thing for me was the curriculum for ELA, and I really appreciated the process that was done from beginning to end, from the pilot to now the actual implementation and application of that curriculum, and the positive feedback that I'm hearing from our educators throughout the district, saying, I was very uncertain about this curriculum. I can't believe how well it's working for my students, and people just really need to, try it out, and they're going to see that success, and they're going to see their students be able to achieve more. And when we know literacy is one of our huge focuses and something that we're trying to improve on, I really appreciate the support of the administration to move forward with a new curriculum that we know helps all of our students. In the realm of management and operations, she has overseen substantial improvements in the human resources, facilities, and transportation departments. Her leadership has driven improved support for district employees, boosting staff satisfaction, which is something that I hear on a regular basis of the positive morale and the improvements of feedback from educators in our school with new positions and infrastructure supports that have been added. Superintendent Monterez has also cultivated a positive and collaborative professional culture within the district. Her leadership style, characterized by open communication and mutual respect, has created a supportive work environment and a shared vision for excellence. Through her commitment to professional growth and development, she has fostered a culture of continuous improvement, benefiting both staff and scholars. And that's really, at the end of the day, what we're all trying to do, is do better by our students and our staff and continue to improve. Again, we know that there are things that need to be done. We need to hit our goals. We need to work more towards increasing our numbers and results for our students. And we're seeing a lot of that work going on with curriculum mapping, again, the college and career readiness enhancements, and just overall staffing supports. So as a committee member, I just want to say that I really appreciate the support that I am also getting back from administration and from the superintendent and that it makes me want to do more and work harder each day for our students, our staff, and our families. So thank you.
Thank you. Member Guardiola?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I really just want to echo a lot of the things that Member McCullough mentioned. Obviously, I want to start by thanking the superintendent and her staff, who have been very accessible to all of us, whatever questions we may have or whatever questions may arise from the public. But, you know, obviously in a year that we had some unfortunate budget issues, Dr. Menares has implemented a plan and a vision that allows the second largest school district in the Commonwealth to continue to be successful. With all the capital improvements, reorganization of the administration, and balancing a well-thought-out budget, the Worcester Public School Systems and its students are in a great position to continue to be successful. Dr. Menares has put the entire school system in a better position for the district than it has ever been before. She continues to work on all aspects of our system to ensure that every student receives the best education and support possible. With the deficit that occurred, I believe she has made every ounce of effort to ensure that services will continue to be at the highest level for each individual student. She has continued to engage the community, parents and students alike, to hear and respond to concerns, comments, and questions. It's admirable that she and her team make an effort to visit each school as well as meet with parents and concerned groups so that she can readjust her priorities on a month-to-month basis. We will never be perfect, but this is a continued effort, and we continue to strive to reach higher, and it's not lost on me, and I hope that it continues because our students deserve our collective best efforts. So I want to thank you for all your hard work.
Anybody else? Nobody else? Okay, fine. No. Member Benenda?
First of all, I want to say that one of the most important things besides budget is the evaluation of the superintendent. And our obligation is to make sure that and recognize if goals have been met. And it was, very clear that 3 goals were met. The increase in the number of FLEPs, also her participation in the new superintendent induction program, and the decreased staff grievances at the school level. However, the academic goal, which was to increase grade 3 reading performances demonstrated by a STAR from the end of the school year of 22-23 to the end of the school year 23-24 was not met. And our responsibility is to the students and to make sure that they're receiving what they need in order to be proficient at reading by the end of grade 3. She also did not statistically significantly increase the percentage of students in grades 7 to 12 who did self-report they were engaged in school. She also did not reach the goal of narrowing the gap between students and staff by 10%. And finally, 100% completion of the highest priority emergency projects that were identified by the safety audit were not completed by June 30th. So that's why in my evaluation, I recognize the things that have been achieved, but the goals that were not met, we need to still focus on. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Member Johnson?
Mr. Mayor.
We go over here to Member Alvarez and Sue. Yeah.
Thank you to the chair, to the superintendent. Again, just want to thank you for the work that you have done and your team has done. And overall, I gave Superintendent Monterez a proficient, and I'm just going to read the comment that I had put in there. Dr. Monterez continues to be a model of consistency as the superintendent for the Worcester Public Schools. She is driven by data-informed practices and ensuring that all students and staff has the ability to grow and learn, but also being heard and valued in the process. She continues to think beyond where the district is now and see the vision of our students, staff, and community in the future. Her effective leadership was crucial this year in the current budget process we were in. She was able to make hard decisions based on best practices to continue to move the district forward in the school years school year 24-25. Dr. Monterez's passion for our students and their well-being is at the forefront of her decisions. I look forward to the next year on the continuing improvements on what has been established and the goals set forth for our students, staff, and families in the future. Again, it's been 2 years that she's been here, and I think we have all seen improvements. And by all means, is it all perfect? Does it all work out? It does not, but I think her vision and her innovative ways of thinking and collaboration with her team and her team supporting that vision, and I think over the 2 years, no questions asked, we have seen that her vision for our district, that was a shared vision by all, and everyone was involved, that she then gives to her administration, who then trickles that down to the administrators and the principals in the school, who, again, does it with the teachers, and the teachers do that with the students. I think what I have seen, and I have kids in the school, and I have a lot of families that I know, that is just playing out all over the district. And again, I'm gonna tell you that there are pockets of places where there's some things that need to be improved, definitely need to be improved, significantly, sometimes a little bit less. That's gonna happen throughout a district this large, and we really need to take that into context of where we are and who we are as a district, who we are as a city, the students that we're dealing with, the population that we have. And overall, I think, again, I would say this as being part of the committee then, I think we made the right choice 2 years ago in bringing Dr. Monterez in and to continue to lead our district forward. And again, and we spoke today, and we were very clear in our conversation today that we still need to be better, and we are going to improve, and we're going to continue to work. And she, if you speak with her and you sit down with her and you talk to her, it's clear. She's not thinking that this is it and she's done her job or whatever. There's a lot more that needs to be done, and she's willing to do the work. She's up to the task, and I think she's proven that to the city of Worcester moving forward. And again, thank you, and thank you to your administration for the work you guys have done. Thanks.
Member Alvarez?
Just to piggyback off of Member Johnson, yeah, that's pretty much the experience that I have seen individually meeting with Dr. Monarez, hearing the public who have and has shared that experience as well, meeting with Dr. Monarez and seeing that, right? It's not like she pauses right there and is like, all right, I'm not gonna do anything else, this is it, this is the end of the rope for me. No, it's really admiring to see like the next goals that she sets up for herself to be able to address those things that are not met. She doesn't shy away from it either when it comes to being open and honest about some of the things that do need improvement, which is basically everything, right? But I did want to add from my heart that growing up, being part of the underserved community, it's just really nice and refreshing to see that family engagement, right? That greater engagement with families, students, even with the staff that you work alongside with. We come into school committee, and being a new member, I've learned that there's not really much that is, for me, I feel like everything is learned on the way. It's not like we have an orientation and we sit down. We do. There's a huge orientation we gotta go through. Like, let me not dismiss that, but I am someone who learns like hands-on, sitting down and learning about it. Yeah, I can understand the information, but having it present itself in a way that's allowing me to learn off of it, like I feel like the superintendent has done a great job modeling that. We have so many parents that come in and support that. And just to wrap up my comment, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for dedicating a lot of your work recognizing that there is an underserved community, and being able to learn off of the people you work with and say, you came from California. This is totally different than California. Different system, different people, right? So you took that and you were like, you know what? I'm gonna learn off of them, no matter who you are. And if you do have knowledge of the city, growing up and raised in the city, then she takes that knowledge and she's like, all right, I'm gonna actually use that, and I'm gonna involve myself with this on my next step. There is no end of the rope for her. I feel like it's an ongoing thing, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your professionalism. I learn a lot off of you, because we're all humans and we all have feelings, but I feel like when it comes to your professionalism, like, you are a true leader.
Thank you. Member Mailman?
Thank you. The first thing I want to do is make a motion to upload all of the original evaluations by the end of August. So whether folks typed it in, whether folks hand wrote it, whether folks answered some questions and didn't answer others. It took us a long time last year. Mr. Mayor, and I'd like to make the motion that we upload those.
I already talked to the clerk, and those will upload over the next week or two.
Okay, and those will be the original documents.
Yeah, last year we had system issues.
We had
So
a long delay with
Yeah,
these, and
yeah.
we need, I think it's very important for the public to see everybody's individual evaluations. I'm going to start with another comment that I didn't have prepared, but I have to say it. There's a few things we have to say. It is ironic to stand in this room, Mr. Mayor, and listen to instructions on how we evaluate a superintendent from a former superintendent who we can discuss 6 years of evaluations and what was real and not real about those. So I just want to say that out loud. It is also highly unusual that we sit on a body where a person that was not renewed is on our body. It has not happened statewide. And I think that there's a lot of scuttlebutt in other places, but we don't necessarily acknowledge what this superintendent, that is a highly unusual situation. And it could be, I guess, in some world, a place where we might imagine a former superintendent would say, yes, we want to keep going with our kids. Clearly, members of the public, members of this body, members in the newspaper, all kinds of people see what's going on here. And I'm sorry about that, because I think it's wasted time and energy, and it frustrates the hell out of me. So, the state evaluation system in Massachusetts uses the SMART Goal program, and I was thrilled to hear that the state is going to start amending that SMART Goal process, because it's way too restrictive, and it is not reflecting all that gets done. Things don't happen, changes don't happen in a school system over a period of time, they happen over a period of years. And because it's so much, this is a people business, there's so much development of people sitting in this room, and then all the people in all of our buildings. So it's kind of cool to watch, to tell you the truth. And so I am happy that we're going to renew that, and I want you to know that my evaluation was done on my knowledge of this system and work processes and all that kinds of stuff. I put my best thinking into this evaluation. The feedback that we receive from parents and community, now not just parents and not just the few folks that come, and thankfully many times to tell us what they think about, but the folks that reach out to us in letters, the folks that reach out to us in calls, that come up to us in meetings. And I'll quote a couple of different ones. The difference is now that they feel they've been treated as a person, and a parent and an engaged community person. And this is different than what was happening before. And it is noted, it is realized, and it's an amazing thing. It should happen in every single school system, but it hadn't happened for a while in Worcester, and it was noticed throughout the community that was missing. So I completely appreciate that we have that. People feel seen, they feel heard, and they feel welcome and included in our schools, and I think that is awesome. As a community member prior, in a lot of roles with the schools, I think that was a major complaint that was heard. I know that we hired an exceptional leader. I mean, exceptional. So my overall rating was exemplary. Because it doesn't happen every day, and it doesn't happen in most districts. But we have managed to hire, as Member Johnson said, the right leader, and we did that 2 years ago. She has integrity, a big picture lens, and consistently centers children, their success and their growth ahead of all the rest of the nonsense that happens in districts. And there's a ton of nonsense that happens. But I believe Dr. Monares keeps her eyes on the ball and supports all of us through this process as we try to do what everybody that when we went for this new superintendent, we wanted someone that could make a significant change in this district, and we have hired that person. And I would just like to read a few comments from my evaluation. Instructional leadership, I said proficient. Management and operations, I said exemplary. Family and community engagement, proficient. And professional culture, exemplary. And I do think the building blocks of what has been done in this system is what you promised that you were going to work on. And we have building blocks that have been built, that there is so much work to do. You said it best. Everywhere there is so much work to do. There is nobody here that's giving an awesome evaluation that says we don't have a ton more to do, because we do, and we recognize that. So it's rewarding to see how a structure of building blocks has begun. Not everything can happen at once. It does seem that most major issues, and these are major issues in our system, that have been identified and outwardly, so everybody knows. I would ask that the administration continue to remind the public of the issues you started with, and also ask that the public be supportive of changes in priority as needed. Dr. Monares' comments during school committee often point to our weaknesses. An example would be her clear instruction to all of us about the multilingual learning system deficits and goals for dual language programs, which will take us so much time to lift, as we understand our starting point differently than 2 years ago. The same applies to special ed updates. The work of the district under Dr. Tammy Murray will be critical, and as has been reported to us, that work had been weekly evaluated, WEA-KLY evaluated over the years. As an example, the over-identification of special ed learners and focusing on bringing those learners to their next step in their educational attainment is critical. The difference in our system prior to Dr. Monares today is stark. The document that most captures my attention when reviewing the work this year is the strategic plan. In all 6 priority areas: equitable resources in education, family community engagement, culture and climate, acquiring and retaining talent, health and wellness, and modernized safe communities. We are working in our goals in this yearly document tied to all areas of our strategic plan. The incredible needs of our buildings and the inequity, to Gordon's point, and the inequity of learning that happens because of some of these things has been the subject of significant discussion and work for the district with the city. I hope that Worcester, through the superintendent, will carry this item forward to provide leadership and urgency at all levels of government. My hope is that as you transition into year 3 of 5, that you will continue imprinting your unique thumbprint through all the important initiatives that have begun, particularly focused on teaching and learning development and leadership development, and that you will use your broad knowledge to play a larger role in state advocacy. We must push and critique our state leadership, DESE and executive leadership, for more just resources for our district and for fresh thinking in the broader world of education and policy. We always think Massachusetts is at the head of the game. I am absolutely convinced we're not in many areas in this world. Dr. Monares, you have won the support of so many families and organizations in our city. We welcome your continued transparency, advocacy, and urgency so that all families and residents can see the path to success. Thank you.
Member Biancarria.
Thank you. I think it's a very interesting evening. This is an evaluation report on our superintendent. whether she's been here and arrived 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 30 years ago. The point is, everybody has a job. The superintendent has a job, school committee has a job. And right now, it's the evaluation of the superintendent. It includes goals. It includes setting the goals, monitoring the goals, looking at the final results. We have some families that are very pleased with what they're receiving. We have some families that are looking forward to having some improvements in the areas that their kids need. But we have a lot of shareholders. We have a lot of stake. We have a great city. We need a great school system, and we need to continue to work on that school system. We have standards that are set. We have programs. We have to be concerned with safety. We have to be concerned with success for all of our students. I look forward to what the MCAS results are. We should be getting them sometime in September. It's a collaborative effort, and that collaborative effort entails standing up here and asking the tough questions, not always standing here saying, what a great job. This evening, when I talked about transportation, we went back and forth with this for a number of years. We end up with our own system. So what do we have for money? How did it work? What happened? Where did it go? What actually was the end result? Are we going in the right direction? The only way we're going to know that is if we actually ask that question, and we did tonight. That's what part of being a school committee member is. And the reason I stress that is because for some reason, it has come to light a number of times over the last few weeks that we should just sit and say, okay, this is great, this works wonderful, and everything is okay. That's not how it gets done. It gets done with a lot of hard work. A lot of us sit and did this evaluation reading a number of reports. So whether it's 2, 5, or 30 years, that's your job, that's our job. We can work collaboratively, we can get things done. It doesn't always mean that the public is going to be happy with us. But what it means is we have an opportunity to give our kids a good education, have them learn, have them walk into their school and feel safe, get a meal, feel as though somebody cares about them, start their day off every day getting on a bus that belongs to Worcester Public Schools. So whether they're walking, taking a bus, we're taking them in the doors. I look forward to what we do for the next year. I look forward to the discussion of the goals. How we did on MCAS will come out in September. We'll see some results there. And I wish everyone well. However, bottom line is I intend on continuing to do my job appropriately. And the people I represent expect me to do that. And they expect you to do your job. Good luck to all of us.
Member Roy?
Thank you. The only thing I want to say is this was my first time doing an evaluation. And I had to really look at a lot of things, a lot of reports, and evaluate against what I think one of you said about the rubrics, the guidelines, and then compare them. I think a lot of things have been going in a positive direction, but I also see needs for where there is some improvement. I'm very worried about the littles in the reading and not reading at proficient levels. I'm also worried about the fact that our students are not meeting proficiency in other areas, but I think that's something we can work on and we can get going in a positive way in the future. And I would like to thank Dr. Menares for opening her doors to talk with us once a month or whenever is needed. So basically, I just want to say I look forward to working with her and the other members of the committee, and that we're going to go forward with 24-25, and let's hope for a positive, wonderful school year. Thank you.
Mayor Petty?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I just want to thank everybody who participated in this. I want to thank people who come out and part of the community and try to make a difference here in the city of Worcester. I had to go back and read my own evaluation. I was so focused on the school committee evaluations. But I just want to say, what I said here at the final slide, I'd like to thank the superintendent for kindness, resilience, and integrity. Because I think the rest just falls into place. I remember the first time I met you, I think we met at a coffee shop on Grove Street, we were at the hotel, we had done a tour of one of the schools. What I really enjoyed about the conversation that day, which was very impressive, was how you can go into a school and evaluate it so quickly, and evaluate the staff, which is done today. Superintendent and I meet on a regular basis. We have frank conversations. Sometimes I leave on a high, sometimes I leave on a low, but I can say for sure your heart's in the right place here in the city of Worcester, and we're better for it. And I just want to thank you and everything you're doing. It's not an easy district to manage. You have almost 25,000 students here in the district, and coming from all over the world. Some people don't speak English. Some people are transient within the city of Worcester or throughout the state of Massachusetts on a regular basis, which we've always had that issue, and we've always dealt with it. I think we have the educators and administrators here in this audience here today do a good job working together and really making our scholars better students here in the city of Worcester. And I could read some of this, but it'll be all on the website. But you look at what happened in COVID, and we had the third grade reading, one of the goals here, and students pretty much a year behind, and not just here in Worcester, on a national basis. And you've been here for 2 years, and 2 good years. And when I talked about this before, putting the infrastructure in place takes 2 or 3 years. 1 year to evaluate, 1 year to start implementing, and probably another year to 2 to get it where you want it to be. And I think that's where you are now. I think you have a system in place. You have a lot of good people here in this room who are doing their jobs, and you're making them work and be held accountable. And so I just want to thank you for that. I think I gave you I gave you 3 proficients in exemplary. Management operations, I always give them exemplary, but they do a good job. And but everybody does a good job. And the challenges are tremendous. I'm not denying that, you don't deny that we have a lot of challenges here in the city, and with the schools and the scholars, and try to get there. What's different now, I think, is the momentum. What's going on in the schools, I think Chairman has talked about that, Johnson, about you can see a different attitude in the schools, whether it be from the scholars, whether it be from the administrators, whether it be from the educators. You feel a real sense of being part of the system. It doesn't mean, again, we don't have some issues that we need to solve. But I'm pretty proud to have you as the superintendent. And one of the things we have to just talk about this too is that we didn't meet some of the goals. There's no question about that. I've been here a year or 2, and it's going to be hard to meet this. Like we can talk about the demographics of the administrators, the educators, the students, etc. But it's always been an issue. Most about the schools hiring from communities of color here to make a representative of the students that we're teaching. But I'll give the previous superintendent some credit. We put infrastructure in place in the previous 3 or 4 years ago with the universities, trying to make sure we have a system of getting kids interested in being teachers and educators in the Worcester Public Schools. And also people want to revisit what they're doing for careers, they come back to the Worcester Public Schools. So again, we have challenges, but I made the right decision. I put a process in place 3 or 4 years ago, led by Molly McCullough, and a bunch of probably like 17 community people, including teachers and principals, who still today stay active and participate, and brought us 3 great choices. And we picked, I think, the best choice we had at that time, and continue to believe that way. So I look forward in the future to work with you and your team to make the scholars better than what they are today. Thank you. I'm sorry, Madam Superintendent?
Through the chair. So first, I want to thank the community that continues to come out. I know it's not easy to come out, especially this time of the day during the summer. So thank you for taking the time and recognizing the work that happens in Worcester Public Schools. And I never sit up here and believe that it is Rachel who does this work. I have an amazing team right here in front of me, and behind each one of them are hundreds of people, right? The work of a superintendent is to inspire, to lead, to make difficult decisions, and really to empower people to do what is necessary for the children in the community we serve. That is the work. And so I want to thank the committee members for your thoughtful feedback, recognizing where the district was 2 years ago, recognizing that there's still a lot of work to be done, and that there's movement. I know that we did not, I know that as I reflect on the goals that I will bring forward for my next evaluation, I'm going to be more precise in language, because I feel like I wasn't as precise in my language, and it was unfortunately took away from the work that the schools have done and the progress that has been made. And I don't understand why we continue to want to paint our schools as a place where it is unsafe for children to learn or for staff to work. I feel like it really disregards the hard work that the staff is doing each and every day. I don't understand why that continues to be conversation at this level. I really appreciate maybe at a one-on-one, you can better enlighten me on that, because I don't know why we would continue to talk about our schools, our children, our staff in a way that is not positive and in many ways not accurate of what's going on at schools. I'm there all the time. I can't wrap my head around it. I don't understand why we talk about children that way. I read each one of your evaluations. I'm trying to synthesize with the feedback, where the next steps will be for Worcester Public Schools based off of what was shared with me. And I'm going to be honest, there was some critiques that leave me a little perplexed, because in some of the statements, it was comments about budget, and multiple times during the 2 budget meetings, it was said, cut from the top, and yet a critique that came out was not focusing on teaching and learning because there's not a director or assistant director of teaching and learning. That's perplexing to me. I don't know what to do with that information. And so I again, during one-on-ones, will try to get down to make some sense out of this. But more than anything, when I read the evaluations, and really what I've experienced in the last, I'm going to say 6 months, is that there's a distinct difference of the view of what the role of the superintendent is by this body here, and what I believe the role of superintendent is. So very much I hear many of you talking about building team, setting vision, monitoring, and empowering and inspiring, and really believing on what can be for the children in this community. That's what I see the role of the superintendent as well. That my job is not to be the doer of everything. I've done most of it, aside from cleaning a school. I will never say cleaned a school. I've helped a custodian. I haven't cleaned a school by myself. But I don't believe that's what my job is, and I believe that you brought me here because you wanted me to guide and lead and empower people to provide the best and see the possibility in every child. And that's what I believe my role is. And so there are the majority of the school committee members that I do believe we're on the same page, and that we continue to see that's what my role is. And I think there's some where we need to do some more time together and calibrate, because I just think we see the role of the superintendent very different. And I think we see the role of the school committee member very different. School committee is about policy, It's about fiscal allocations, and then it's the evaluation. I look forward to some more policy conversation and questions around policy. I think that would be very beneficial for the overall organization. So I'll close by saying I will continue to, and I chose this word, so I was happy a few of you said this as well, to lead with integrity. That is my most important quality from being a classroom teacher, a principal, and any kind of district level leader. I want anyone who comes in contact with me to feel that if I say I'm going to do something, if I'm listening, if I say I can't do it, I'm going to be very honest and I'm going to show integrity. That's more important to me than anything else. I'd rather say I can't do something and not meet an expectation than to promise something and then not deliver. That doesn't work for me. So I'm going to continue to lead with integrity. I'm going to continue to lead with continuous improvement and excellence and a belief in what can be and what will be, because I need to put that out in the atmosphere, right? What will be for our youth and our families. Worcester Public Schools will be a district where our youth are prepared for whatever their future holds. They get to decide because they deserve that. So with that, thank you for the feedback. I will be bringing goals forward to you the second committee meeting in September.
Thank you. Nice job. So we will continue with our meeting, and
He's...
What's that? Oh, okay. Okay, we are on, excuse me? Okay, file, all those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Then we have, so we'll get up the individual evaluations over the next 2 weeks, if we can, and let us know if we can't. Then, yes, sure. Madam Superintendent?
Through the chair, I forgot to announce or share. In addition to our clerk, I will provide my self-reflection that I gave to the committee to also be uploaded with the evaluations of the individual members. So I'll make sure that you have that prior to your uploading.
Okay. So next we are on N, approval of the grants and other financial items. Member Johnson?
I'm so sorry to do this. I know we approved the consent agenda. I'm just wondering, can we just suspend the rules for a second just to go back? I just have a question on a few of those that I believe the superintendent was going to answer for me. I'm sorry I missed that.
Okay, so the motion is to suspend the rules, and that's the first motion, and so that's roll call.
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Biancaria? Member Benenda?
Yes.
Member Guardiola?
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnson?
Yes.
Member Mailman?
Yes.
Member McCullough?
Yes.
Member Roy?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes, the motion is to, on the consent agenda, to reconsider. Roll call.
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Biancaria? Member Benenda?
Yes.
Member Guardiola?
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnson?
Yes.
Member Mailman?
Yes.
Member McCullough?
Yes.
Member Roy?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes. Member Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To the administration, just in regards to some of those approvals for like the backpack, the 5,550 backpacks and the 300 backpacks, can you just report out on kind of how those are going to be distributed, like based on districts, schools, how that process is going to work?
Mr. Allen?
And actually, through the chair, I just, the 2,500 reusable water bottles as well, like how we're going to do that. Thanks.
Mr. Allen?
Through the chair, so on an annual basis, we receive donations of backpacks, and this year, first year, also reusable water bottles that the Family and Community Engagement staff will be coordinating. Usually those go to one central location, the warehouse that the school committee has accepted as a donation from Chetram Properties And then the FACE group works with each of the schools to identify students in need for backpacks and for those supplies. While we're speaking about the water bottles, I think we pointed out, but I think it's important that we are ahead of schedule on the replacement of our water bottle filling stations in schools. And so in each of the schools, we will not, as a primary means of providing water to schools, need the water jugs that we were using at the end of the school year. We expect all of the water bottle filling stations, so schools that are getting more than one, to be completed by October 1st.
Thank you. Awesome.
And just throwing this out there, we've had a number of organizations, more so this year than past years, whether it be WEA-Adams, whether it be Dewey Bowich, whether it be other organizations who do backpacks. It'd be nice if we could coordinate everybody. Sometimes I wonder if we have too many backpacks. It could be other supplies that we might need. I'm not sure the answer to that. But I don't know who that would go to. Maybe as a committee we can look at that. Maybe work on with the administration in the community. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we are on. Right. We're on N. Right here. Then when you get to here. Yep. Okay.
Can I ask a procedural question? Through the chair, procedurally, does that have to be revoted since that we reconsidered that? I'm not sure.
We might, I'm not sure, but yeah, so we'll take N as a vote, roll call.
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Biancaria?
Yes.
Member Benenda?
Yes.
Member Guardiola? Vice Chair Johnson?
Yes.
Member Mailman?
Yes.
Member McCullough?
Yes.
Member Roy?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes, and that was for the consent agenda? So, okay.
So we'll move on to N, approval of grants and other finance items. Any questions? Can we take that collectively? Those that oppose? No? So ordered. So we move on now to general business, GB 4-73, to review the status of the fiscal year 25 budget and make appropriate transfers as required. Recommendation is to refer to FOG. All set? Those that oppose? No? So ordered. GB 474, to declare the following items for the Old Doherty Memorial High School as surplus for the purpose of conducting an auction for the funds to benefit the school. Motion to approve. Those that oppose? No. So ordered. GB 4-75, to approve the school committee meeting schedule for the 2025 calendar year. Member McCullough?
Thank you. And through the chair, I want to thank the clerk's office for getting us this so we can start planning for next year. My asks would be that we correct the executive session times till 5 o'clock for January till June, because that is what they currently are, and that I believe is just a clerical situation. And then for the budget meetings in June itself, it should be 4 o'clock budget start with a 6 o'clock executive session, regular session start, depending on if there's executive session. And then also the executive session from September through December. So that is my ask with that. And then I also wanted to make a motion when looking at the June schedule. I appreciate that the clerk picked up on the fact that the 19th was Juneteenth, so that would be a holiday, so we couldn't have it 2 weeks apart. But after speaking with administration and knowing that we typically look to get feedback on items, if we could make a motion to have that meeting, this particular upcoming June, on that Wednesday, the 18th, so there's still a 2-week time frame between the two budget sessions, so that if we have questions that we're asking of administration, there's time for them to get that back to us without that much of a turnaround, that short of a turnaround.
Anyone else? Member Biancaria?
Thank you for the updates on this. And yes, Ms. McCullough, I did have the same notations here. Thank you. And I would just ask that we receive, as a school committee, if we could have it in the next agenda, an updated version of what the schedule is with the changes that we just discussed. Thank you.
Member Mailman?
Just clarification through the chair to Member McCullough. Why do we have different start times from, maybe I misunderstood what you said. Oh, this is for the entire year. So we had moved to a 5 exec and then 5:30 committee meeting?
No, this is, clerically, this is incorrect. Our executive session starts at 5 o'clock and our regular session starts at 6 o'clock. These say 5:30, but for the last 8 years, our executive session starts at 5 o'clock. Only starts at 5:30 if there is not something on the real.
Okay, so then we were gonna then what we did, I think, last year is posted for a 5:30 start in case we were over early. And is that what you just said that I didn't hear?
No, I may not have actually articulated that, but
Okay.
so the presumption would be that our executive sessions are at 5 o'clock for the regular school year, other than June through August.
Yeah, got that.
And if there is a change, then the clerk will make that adjustment as that meeting comes up. But our actual executive session time is 5 o'clock and our regular session time is 6 o'clock.
Is 5:30?
No, 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And it's been that way for 8 years.
6 o'clock. And sometimes when we meet and we do the agenda or whatever, we might change it to 5:30, depending on what's on for executive session, when we meet with the superintendent and the clerk.
Just one more follow-up. I thought our idea was that just being consistent and making it 5:30, that if it was, that we were allowing for a better, a smoother meeting time for parents and families.
Member McCullough?
Through the chair, it's not that wouldn't happen, but executive session starts at 5 o'clock. So if there isn't something on there, it would be noted that the time would be different. You're saying, I'm sorry, through the chair, for clarification, you're asking, you're trying to make a motion to do something completely different than what our current schedule is.
No, only a minor change to what you're saying. I agree with you that executive session started at 5, but I thought that we were making a change that regular session would begin at 5:30 and that's how we were addressing our weekly. No.
That would have to be a whole separate motion.
We never had any discussion about that? I'm making that up. Okay. Thank you.
So we all set? So the motion is to change the executive session to reflect on the calendar from 5:30 to 5 and for the budget hearing on June 5th to reflect 4 to 6 for budget, and then 6 o'clock executive session if needed, and then regular session will follow, correct? And the other motion is to move the June 12th meeting for budget to Wednesday, June 18th, due to Juneteenth on the 19th. Is that correct? Let's take that on a roll call, so we're clear here. Roll call.
Member Alvarez?
Yes.
Member Biancaria?
Yes.
Member Benendo?
Yes.
Member Guardiola?
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnson?
Yes.
Member Mailman?
Yes.
Member McCullough?
Yes.
Member Roy?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
So next, GB 4-76, to approve the report of the superintendent's schedule for the 2024-2025 school year. Motion to approve. Okay. Those that oppose, no, so ordered. And we have GB 4-77, to consider revisions to the fiscal year 25 building rental rates. Recommendations to send that to FOG. Member Benenda?
Through the chair, I see we can't open that, so would someone be able to explain to us what the building rates are?
Mr. Allen?
Through the chair, the administration has not submitted to the school committee the recommendation at this time. We would do that through the Finance Operations and Governance Committee.
So that's why they're asking to send it to, huh? That's why we're sending it to FOG.
So through the chair, there is no revisions yet. It's going to go and get discussed for the first time at FOG?
FOG, yes.
Okay.
Okay, all set, send it to FOG. Those that oppose, no, so ordered. So motion is from administration is GB 4-78, is to hold that. We're looking to hold at this time. Those that oppose, no, so ordered. And we have GB 4-79 to authorize the administration to enter in an 8-year contract for the purchase of electronic textbooks for world language curriculum with Wayside Publishing following the district pilot program. Motion is to approve. Those that oppose, no, so ordered. And I think that is it, right? All right. Thank you all for coming out today. Appreciate it. Enjoy. Motion to adjourn. Thanks. I got it.